I think that's gonna be my new thing. I'm just gonna, for every intro, I'm just gonna hit him with the Ric Flair. Woo! We're back, episode 10 of Stats Over Politics. As always, I am Shaun Holko, virtually alongside my guys, Mr. Jay Von Toddy, Mr. Garry Singh. Mr. Kevin Dent is on his honeymoon right now. He is in international waters, and he's currently asleep right now. So, Kevin, we hope you are having a great honeymoon for yourself.
Yes, this would have been a great week to have him on, too. This has been a great week.
Hey, man, the wifey's always first, man. Wifey's always first.
Yeah, but would it... I mean, according to Kevin, though, the real playoffs don't start until this upcoming weekend now.
True,
Kevin said that the wild card round didn't mean anything. It didn't matter. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know when he comes back next week if he's gonna stick with that tune that the wild card round didn't matter, though, because Kevin went 5-1 in the wild card round with our predictions. I went 5-1. The two of you went 3-3. You got the obvious ones. You missed on the not so obvious ones. And I'm just mad at myself for picking the Vikings, man. We were telling people all year long. We kept telling Wes every single week that the Vikings were frauds, and I'm just mad at myself for not picking against them. So shout out to Kevin for being the only one to pick the Giants in that game. Garry, did you think that the Vikings? As we hit the skull. And I just want to get to a couple of the YouTube comments real quick before we dive in. What's up with our guy Julian? Julian and I have a bet now. We already have a wager. We already have a wager. Me and Julian already have a wager, so I'm excited with that. And what's up with our guy James as well? We appreciate you both being loyal listeners and tapping in with us. Garry, how was Wild Card Weekend for you? We know that your Steelers weren't in it, but did you still enjoy the games?
No, I enjoyed all the games. A couple of games, like you said, I'm not gonna lie, like the Giants one and the Jags one were both kind of close ones for me, like close calls, even calling the game, picking the game. So, I'm just happy that I told everyone these games were going to be close and better put majority of them, except the Niners one, majority, and obviously the Cowboys one. But other than those two games, I bet every game would be close. So that's good. Hopefully put a little money on that.
Do you think you guys could have beat the Bengals this weekend?
Who, the Steelers?
Yeah.
But the way the O-line went down, probably, because the Watt's on that line, and if they would have went out early, it would have been a little hectic. But you know what? It's not gonna do what ifs. Me and my Steelers are worried about next year, man.
Garry doesn't even want to think about it because it just upsets him.
Yeah, Von's just trying to just make me cringe and stuff like that, thinking of what ifs.
Well, Garry, your Steelers are sitting at home while Kevin's Jacksonville Jaguars are moving on to the next round. So
let's get those two teams against each other now. Just because I bet against them, it's all good. I feel like they creeped in my mind on this week's bets, this week's pick too. I shouldn't have. They were hot. But let's get into it. Go ahead, Shaun.
Yeah. That's a part of the fun, and we appreciate everyone for tapping in with us a little bit late again this week. This week we're a little bit later just because I was out in Woodland covering some high school basketball, so I appreciate you all bearing with me with that as well. So, guys, we're going to get into recapping the NFL Wild Card Weekend, and then we're going to make our predictions, including against the spread, for the divisional round, which is coming up this weekend. We got 4 games, and then we are going to get to some NBA. The Kings, they've won 4 games in a row. That's exciting to talk about, and they went undefeated in the last week, as we all predicted they would, but it's nice to not see them have a letdown. So, guys, let's not waste any more time here on episode 10 of Stats Over Politics. Let's dive right into it with the first game of the weekend, Javon. It was the San Francisco 49ers defeating the Seattle Seahawks 41-23 on Saturday. So it was a close first half, not the greatest first half from BCB, Brock Purdy, as he went 9 for 19 in that first half. But 49ers absolutely ran away with the game in the second half, both literally and figuratively, as the 49ers beat the Seahawks for the 3rd time this season, Javon. So what were your takeaways from this game?
Oh, man, I took a lot of notes for this one. Brock Purdy, first playoff game ever. We saw a lot of jitters going into this game a little bit. Just the way that he was playing early, he was missing a lot of throws. He was spinning kind of into sacks. His pocket presence was kind of all over the place. Like, there was a play specifically when he could have just stepped up into the pocket and ran. Instead, he stepped up in the pocket and did a weird spin, and it was weird. So, Seattle, they were the first half heroes kind of going into it, and they played their butts. They played the best first half a team could play. Didn't love the squib kick call at the end of the first half, and then Jimmy Ward, throws his body into Geno Smith as he's sliding with 1 second left. They were kind of just giving up going into the halftime. And then ultimately Seattle ends up going up by kicking a field goal 17-16. Anybody that had Seattle first half probably won a good chunk of change. But then, the second half, it kind of just, the Niners, and I think Jonathan Abram had a lot to deal with, the gumption and the inspiration behind this 49ers second half comeback. Deebo Samuel said in his post-game presser, he's like, I kind of just blacked out when he saw the guy grab his foot, and then everybody was going over. You even saw Shanahan cursing at the refs, and everybody was kind of taken back by that. I was like, man, you know what? Forget the Seahawks. We're gonna come out here and we're gonna play our game. And then in the second half, Brock Purdy throws for he goes 9 for 11, 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. His final stat line was 332 yards, 18 of 30, 3 touchdowns, 131.5 passer rating, which led the whole entire wild card weekend in passer rating. That includes everybody that played. That includes Josh Allen. He played. Joe Burrow, he played too. Justin Herbert, he also played. Dak Prescott, who we saw throw for 4 touchdowns. Brock Purdy had the best passer rating for the entire playoffs. Now, we just saw we needed to kind of pick our spot. We had Christian McCaffrey early in the game. Elijah Mitchell was making a lot of off-schedule plays. We didn't really see too much from George Kittle. This was kind of the Deebo's back game. Deebo Samuel coming back from that ankle injury. Didn't really see too much from him as he came back from injury. Very late into the season, he was kind of just, warming up, tuning up. People was like, where's Deebo Samuel? It's been the George Kittle show. It's been the Brandon Ayuk show. It's kind of been the Juwan Shindig show. Christian McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel's not the $25 million man that just got paid this offseason for a reason, right? And he proceeded to have 133 yards, 6 receptions, and a touchdown. So people are starting to realize that Deebo is an all-pro player, all-pro caliber player, Pro Bowl caliber player, and that he's here to stay. He just adds to a repertoire that this team already has. Brock Purdy's out there to kind of just – hey, man, I'm not saying Brock Purdy's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen. I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow. But he sure as hell's playing like one. That's all I got to say, man. He's putting the numbers up. Was his first playoff game. Brock Purdy has more playoff wins than Jalen Hurts. Let's just put that into perspective right now. Brock Purdy has more playoff wins than
slow down, buddy. Oh, Kyle, it's just one. Oh my God! Now I gotta cut you off now.
Eagles. So now all I'm saying is if Purdy's able to do that, he's playing above average. He's not playing like a game manager. He's making off-schedule play throws. So the way that he's playing and the way that our defense is playing, this team can go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And I know a rookie quarterback's never done that, let alone the last pick in the draft. But he's not playing like he's the last pick in the draft. He's playing like he's one of the top quarterbacks in this league.
Okay, Gary, you wanted to cut him off, so what's your rebuttal?
Nah, I was just saying, Vaughn, clap it up for the Niners. You guys won a game you're supposed to win. Good recap, Vaughn. I'm not going to lie. Great recap. You got to give it up to him right there. First, I can't say anything else. You did to break down the game perfectly. They played the best first half they could. Seattle was praying. That's all they can ask for. But that third quarter, fourth quarter came after that first pick, pretty much over. That's it. It was a wrap. You could tell the whole life got sucked out of them. That building was rocking. You could just tell from the TV. I was over here watching it from a bar, and we're all filled with Niner fans. You already know, like third quarter, I felt like it was pretty much a wrap. The momentum, like even I think on the last touchdown, I think the Debo touchdown, they pretty much looked like they gave up on trying to tackle him. Like it looked like he was hitting. Maybe Debo's going so fast that looked like they can't even catch him. Either way, it was pretty much game over. You guys won this game like you're supposed to. Give credit to the Niners. You got to also give credit, like I said, to Geno Smith and them, even though at the end of the day, that's why there's tiers to this game, and it's no disrespect to Geno, but there's levels to this stuff. So, and basically, Geno put a Geno. Simple. Did play half a great game, and then boom, threw a pick, and the game was over, and wasn't able to capitalize or come back. And you guys took all the momentum as you guys should. And you guys are going against the Cowboys now, who are going to be coming in, and they came off a great game too. So it's going to be a good one this weekend. But we're going to get into that a little later. But you know what? You guys really riding high. I told you last week, Vaughn, you guys are juggernauts. You guys should win the bowl. Like, you guys forget the stat about the QB being the rookie and everything like this. Any team could do it. It is this team because they got all-stars at every level. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I feel like I kind of picked this week too a little bit on the quarterbacks. I feel like quarterbacks do prevail, and you can't lie. Brock Purdy's playing his game right now. But like you said, I still feel like he hasn't got tested. It's another blowout. It's another game that he's getting lightweight carried. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying he had a lot of yards and everything like that, but y'all seen a lot of yak. We already know about this team. We don't got to go over and over again. The Niners have a lot of players that make plays and take balls to the house, basically. So I'm just waiting for the time where I just really see a tight defense been making him nervous all night. And is he going to, like you said, Ron, is he going to get nervous? But I ain't gonna lie, he hasn't been gun shy. So we'll give him that right now.
Yeah, Javon, I have to step up for Kevin here in his absence, and I just like, and this was
that, my bad.
No, you're good. This was the comment that made Gary want to cut you off because Javon quickly snuck in there. He said Brock Purdy now has more playoff wins than Jalen Hurts. If Kevin was here, he would have blown a gasket because he would have been like, yeah, because Jalen Hurts was chilling at home with a bye week. He had a week off and he had a vacation. And
maybe they get tied this week. Maybe they get tied. Or maybe not.
No.
Or
maybe they lose. Or maybe they lose this weekend. No time. Maybe they lose. But anyways, so Javon, you basically touched up on the entire game for us, and I don't need to say any more other than that Jonathan Abram trying to twist Debo's ankle. That was truly the turning point in this game. And 49ers, they basically just stomped him out after that, and it was appropriately so. So I just wanted to just real quickly just mention, I started watching The Man in the Arena. Have you guys watched The Man in the Arena? Do you know what that is?
That's Tom Brady's right? Whole thing.
I watched like a little bit of I've seen a little bit, not too much of it though, not fully yet.
Yeah, so I'm 4 episodes in now, and I gotta say, man, it's scary how it is good. It's really good, but it's scary how many similarities are there between Tom Brady's first run with the Patriots and Brock Purdy's run.
Look at you stretching now.
No,
Brock Purdy's gonna be the GOAT.
No. I mean, Gary,
GOAT.
Gary, right now, Brock Purdy is playing better than Tom Brady did when Tom.
That
Brady
was a whole different time too. Let's be honest too. For the OGs, I'm gonna say the numbers is a little bit inflated now. Let's say for the OGs, I'm gonna be honest. Let's not cap too much. They're doing great things. There's great players now. Obviously, the offense has been at an all-time high, but they're putting up more numbers. Obviously, come on now.
So Gary, I knew that you were going to press me on this comparison, and so I took a couple notes as I was watching The Man in the Arena by Tom Brady, and so anyways,
too much now.
Well, no, I'm just going to list some facts for you. So Tom Brady, as we know, he was in his second year. He wasn't a rookie. He was in his second year when he replaced Drew Bledsoe. He, as we know, 6th rounder. 199 overall. I'm sorry, Brock Purdy
basically
was a 7th rounder.
Though. He didn't play his first year that much, right?
So. Yeah, exactly. It was basically like he was pretty green out there. And the Patriots, once Drew Bledsoe got healthy, they decided to stick with Tom Brady, and they did that despite having over $100 million invested in Drew Bledsoe. 49ers don't have $100 million invested in Trey Lance, but they have a lot invested in him in 3 first-round picks it took to get him. So that's just an interesting comparison. That first Patriots team, they won because of an elite defense. That's pretty interesting.
I was knew you were going to go there. Okay.
Don't the Niners have elite defense?
Yeah, I think they have the best defense in the
The coaches
NFL.
are different, though.
Okay, and then
one's offensive guy or defensive guy, but okay.
Okay, and DeMeco Ryans is getting interviewed by every single team looking for
a
coach right now.
Bad. I'm just
Why?
Saying, you're trying
because
to
he is. Okay, all right. Well,
just had to point out a little difference. You know,
thank
what I'm
you,
saying?
Gary. All right. So that was
the
the
keep
first
setting
season,
this up, Shaun.
No,
keep setting
the
it up.
second.
What's
okay,
another? Yeah.
This is the last point. Is that the second Super Bowl that the Patriots won?
Second one
was actually they finished that season on a 15-game winning streak.
Aren't the 49ers 11-gamer?
They are on an 11-game winning streak. And if they were to win the Super Bowl, the 49ers would finish with a 14-game winning streak. Patriots, when they won their second Super Bowl, they finished the season on a 15-game winning streak. So I'm just saying I started watching The Man in the Arena.
It's all good. I understand.
I tuned in before.
Go ahead, Shaun. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I tuned into the first episode of Man in the Arena before Monday's game because I was the only one who knew that Tom Brady was going to get bounced from that playoff game as the
like you knew.
Hey, Jesse, my mom is a yoga instructor, so I guess I learned from the best on how to stretch that right now. But anyways, I just wanted to just mention some observations that I made.
Real quick, that's understandable. The Niner fans, you guys want to, especially Shaun right there. He really wants to imagine and put into the universe. You know what I'm saying? Speaking to existence for basically Brock Purdy to pull a goat run real quick. But okay, no problem. Sounds good. Sounds all lovely right now, guys. Sounds all lovely.
Brock Purdy is the youngest NFL player in postseason history to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. The last person to do that, Dan Marino, his idol. Another fun.
The reason why he wears the number 13. Fun fact, crazy stuff.
Can't handle the Niners right now. There's no
hey, so here's the last 4 quarterbacks with 330 passing yards and 4 TDs and 0 interceptions in a playoff game.
That too.
Patrick Mahomes.
Look at these guys. They got all
Matt Ryan. Aaron
18
Rodgers.
minutes into the show, we're still talking about the Niners. Where's Kevin? See, I'm on an island right now. I need some people to flood in the comments. They're giving so much love to the Niners. We get it. Y'all beat Seattle. It's wild card.
Gary, and next week we'll beat the Cowboys.
Y'all just beat them a couple weeks ago. Y'all supposed to do this. How much pride, bro? It's about to be.
Gary is currently stranded on Niner Island.
If y'all don't win the Super Bowl, y'all have to win the Super Bowl. It's gonna be real bad. Real bad.
Hey, Gary, where's your team at?
They're not. Well, we're not juggernauts like you guys. Come on now, we're not juggernauts like you guys. I was just wondering where your team was at. All right, let's move on. So the other game from Saturday in the bowl. Hey, Toddy, have you already started looking at Southwest tickets to Arizona for February? Because I have. All right, so the other game. But the winning is the main thing.
Gary knows the truth. Anyways, all right, guys.
No, I can't lie. You guys are good. That's why sometimes I can't lie about that.
I appreciate it. Hey, stats over politics. So let's keep it moving here on episode 10. So the other game from Saturday, guys, 27-0. The Chargers were up at one point, and they lost that game. Gary and Javon were both 2 people who picked the Chargers in this game. Kevin and I were the ones to pick the Jags. And, the crazy thing is I ended up going out to dinner with some friends on Saturday night. And when I left my apartment, the Chargers were up 24-0. I did not feel confident in the Chargers retaining that lead. Why? Because it's the Chargers, and if any team is going to find a way to choke, it's going to be the Chargers, and that's exactly what they did. Is they lost 31-30 in a game that they led 27-0, and that has led to their offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi getting fired, and also their quarterback's coach. So, Gary, you have not been a believer of the Jaguars all year long, dating back to episode 0. I'm just going to continue to fluff up that narrative. Were you surprised by this comeback?
The funny thing is, if you actually go back, I just said they're going to be good next year. So I'm not going to lie, they took a step early this year because I thought when they got a new coach.
He did say that last year. So they're winning this year in 2023.
Okay.
he just tried to spin it for you.
No, yeah, exactly. But I was talking about Doug Pearson coming. I think they needed one more year, the second year. But you know what? Trevor and them are already launching right now. Congrats to them. This one when I said in my gut, I was really going back and forth from this one. But I'm like, I wish Justin Herbert was my quarterback for the Steelers. Like, I really like Justin Herbert. Just watching him so fun, especially like last year's game versus the Raiders and stuff like that. I just feel like Justin Herbert's on another level. But obviously this year he's had a little hiccups throughout the year, especially with just really with the offense in general with the coach and stuff like that. So in this game, really, Shaun, I don't know if when they were up 21-0, he threw 4 picks. That's like
by halftime.
Yeah. That was like, this is going by Derwin James too, like a majority of them. That was like, this is going crazy.
It was actually Asante Samuel Jr. who had 3 of them.
But yeah, I was just like, oh my God, what is happening? This is the worst thing. Like, oh my, I don't know. I was just thinking about Kevin, but this is the worst case scenario. Like,
Trevor Lawrence was not looking generational out there. He was not looking.
No, exactly. And I was like, you know what? Justin Herbert is showing to be that man. Stepping up to a play in his first playoff game. And but I was actually happy it got close. But when they started getting when they started having 3 and outs, not wasting the time, there was like 10 possessions. I seen a stat where they literally snapped the ball like at 10 seconds left on the shot clock, on the game clock. So I'm like, oh, that's like small little coaching tactics that, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be up tempo, if you want to even be smart, those are smart tactics to, get the game done. That's like everyone. I know you're not supposed to play to lose. Well, they kind of did play to lose. I mean, they try to play. That's the thing. I feel like this team doesn't have no identity at all. They're supposed to be Justin Herbert identity, and the coach is a defensive coach, but the defense on that team is not that good. So it just really don't make no sense. I know they didn't fire the coach and they fired the offensive coordinator today, but realistically, they shouldn't have fired the coach too. Because how are you supposed to be good at something and they're not good at it? You're supposed to be a defensive coach, and defense is not good after a few years. So it's not really no making sense. I just don't feel like this made a lot of hiccups this year, and I just really, if I was I don't know, man. I'm from Justin Herbert. I'm not scratching my head what's going on. Especially you see Mike Williams a couple weeks ago tweeted what he tweeted about, like, what are we doing and stuff like that. A certain situation by play calls. It's just like, this was bound to happen, like you said, Shaun. You're like, Chargers are being the Chargers, but you just think with that great talent, you see like Joe Burrow with the Bengals. The Bengals are always the Bengals, but majority of my time we always dominated them. They've always been the low class of our division. So him just turn that tide. I always thought Justin Herbert kind of has that in him. Just like Casey and the Bills have always been kind of good, but just saying, like, when you have greatness players, they can turn it around. So then just not be able to flip the switch and just being embarrassed like this. I ain't gonna lie, they should fire the coach now because it's not gonna end next year too. They're gonna fire him too late. You know what I'm saying? They might start the process now. But you know what? Don't want to call for people jobs too much, but hey, that's his business.
So you mentioned Mike Williams, Gary. Mike Williams did not even play in this game because he got hurt in a meaningless Week 18 game against the Denver Broncos.
Poor decision making.
You can't coddle these guys, and you can't try to overprotect them. But with a guy like Mike Williams who has an injury history, you got to be extra careful with those guys, and that's something that Brandon Staley did not do. So, Javon, Gary emphatically thinks that the Chargers should have, because at this point it seems like they're moving on and they're moving forward with him. Guys like Austin Eckler were vouching for Brandon Staley, saying like, hey, we're just trying to get to the playoffs. This guy got us here. Now we need to be able to execute. And so now I'm going to pose the question to you, Javon. Should the Chargers fire Brandon Staley while they still can?
Without a doubt. I think that this Chargers team is way too talented. Obviously, last year they missed the playoffs by 1 game in that thriller at Week 18 against the Raiders with that win or go home type of mentality. I think this team is just, stacked everywhere, similar to the San Francisco 49ers. They have two great edge rushers in Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack.
Joey Bosa was not happy.
And Asante Samuel Jr., an ascending young corner in this league. Obviously, they had J.C. Jackson, but he did get hurt. You have, obviously, Justin Herbert. You have Keenan Allen. You have Mike Williams, who did get hurt in Week 18 due to playing in the medium mixed game, as Shaun already alluded to. You have a Derwin James. You have a lot of great talent on this roster. And for them to steadily underachieve by missing the playoffs last year and then blowing a 27-point lead in the playoffs against the Jags, who I thought was an inferior team if you kind of look at the talent scale. I think the Jaguars are an inferior team to the Chargers. And I think it's always came down to coaching at the end of the day with this Chargers team. The talent is there, obviously. You have the playmakers available to you, but the Chargers always underachieve just by poor decision-making. I think Brandon Staley has a huge identity crisis, and they don't really know who they are as a team. And with that, you're going to get your team only running the ball 9 times in the second half and throwing the majority of the time when you have a lead. You have Austin Eckler, a guy who can create plays for you on the ground. So why not run the ball and run the clock a little bit more? But,
it looks a little basic.
In essence, the offense does look a little bit basic. The play calling looks a little vanilla. But at the same time, there has to be somebody has to be the scapegoat. Somebody has to be the scapegoat, and the scapegoat was the offensive coordinator. It has to be
let's flip the question now.
Be the head coach.
Vaughn, I'll flip the question for you. Maybe Shaun, obviously you can hop in too. So obviously they didn't fire him. So why do you guys think they didn't fire him? From their perspective, what do you think the Chargers, Shaun? Why don't you think they fired him?
I mean, well, if my memory serves correctly, this was only his second season. First season, he gets you right on the front doorstep of the playoffs, and you're a play away from getting into the playoffs in your first year. Second year, you get into the playoffs as a wild card because you're in the Chiefs division, and so that's the best way to do it. And so he gets them to the playoffs, and he gets them to a 27-0 lead. But that's the problem. And that's probably why the scapegoats were the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator, because they only scored 3 points after they got up 27-0.
With a missed field goal.
With a missed field goal. But still, 6 points. You count that field goal. That's 6 points. Couldn't even get him a touchdown. You have Justin Herbert at quarterback. You have Austin Eckler out of the backfield, like you guys were just saying, and also Keenan Allen. So it's I don't know. I've always felt like Brandon Staley is a good coach, but when we think back to that Raiders game from last year, there were those questionable decisions where he decided to go for it on 4th and 18. But there's just a lot, and now Mike Williams. There's just a lot of questionable decisions made by Brandon Staley. Do I think Brandon Staley should be fired? No, I'd give him a shot for next year because he has the backing of the players. And I'm going to end by saying this.
Do you think he really does, though?
Yes, I do, because Austin Eckler is probably the loudest voice out of that locker room.
Because he gave him a second chance. He gave him his real first chance, really, though. That's why I feel like too kind of feels.
No. Austin, I have to cut you off there. Austin Eckler was an established star by the time Brandon Staley came to town.
Yeah,
it was Anthony Lynn who gave him the chance. Austin Eckler,
but that's what I was,
as we know, Anthony Lynn, now the 49ers running backs coach. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say real quick. That's what I was gonna say. I think that's the reason why they didn't fire him, because that's gonna be basically 3 coaches in his first 3 years. 3-4 years for Justin Herbert. So I feel like that's probably a reason why, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I think that's the main reason why they didn't do it. Because I feel like if any other reason, they probably would, even though in NFL is kind of a quick, how many coaches have been getting fired after 1 year, 2 years, a quick
Lovie Smith.
Fix.
I mean, exactly. the revolving door that is the Houston Texans.
Yeah, but I think that I just also seen kind of someone echoing too about the ownership of the Chargers don't really do that. They don't really, kind of like my Steelers do, you know what I'm saying? We don't really flip the whole ship too quick, you know what I'm saying? So I guess that's a good thing. Like you said, he has not totally horrible coach. I feel like I just feel like a couple of decisions, like you said, have been wrong. But then again, those sometimes if he gets those fourth down, then we're talking about a totally different story. So I think the main thing that we need to, we focused on was, like Vaughn said, like their offense just needs to get way better with all those weapons and stuff like that. They just need to get way better. And obviously, as a defensive coach, your defense has to be slightly better. But like Shaun said too, it's pretty tough. You're always gonna be the doormat though, with KC in the building.
All right, guys, now let's move on to Sunday's first game, and that was the spirited Buffalo Bills taking on their division rivals, the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins were without Tua Tagovailoa in this game as he was out with another concussion, and this game actually ended up being really close, and it ultimately seemed like it came down to Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins staff not knowing it was 4th and 1. They thought it was first down. They didn't have the right personnel out there. Almost got a delay of game. Actually, they did get a delay of game. It was just a mess when it comes to late game execution. But in my opinion, the better team won. So, Javon, how would you evaluate this game as we all picked the Bills to win it?
I think that this game kind of just symbolizes on, divisional opponents playing each other multiple times, especially the third time being in the playoffs, the wild card game, that is, and just knowing each other's, strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, and it coming down to the wire. Now, one player was Josh Allen and the other was Skylar Thompson, who did, I think he finished like 17 of like 43, which was something, it might have been worse than that, which is like a little under 50% passing. And
18 of 45.
18 of 45. So that's terrible. I thought that Mike McDaniel did wonders with what he was able to deal with at the quarterback position. Just giving Skylar Thompson had so many.
Hey, Vaughn. He learned from the best with Shanahan. He learned from the best.
Everything's a Niner connection right now. Oh my God.
Hey man.
He was on the 49ers last year, Gary. I mean,
what you have to bring it up.
Our old OC. I think they got so far with only having one first down in the fourth quarter, and they were only down like 3 points. So it was pretty crazy. There were so many delay of games at the end. They burned a lot of timeout just because Skylar Thompson is ill-equipped and, being a rookie and not really knowing the situation and not knowing the clock. They're getting out of the huddle with 3 seconds left, and they don't have any timeouts, and they can't snap the ball. So I wouldn't put that on Mike McDaniel because I was seeing a lot of things saying that Mike McDaniel had poor clock management. He's over there vaping on the sideline and doing this.
That was crazy.
Supposedly.
That's crazy.
I just thought that, having a Tyreek Hill, having a Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, you have guys just all over the place. But, having a Skylar Thompson, not everybody can be Brock Purdy at the end of the day. So.
Oh, my God.
Who was picked.
I knew you would love
Skylar
that one,
Thompson,
Gary.
who was
People
picked
are gonna hate us.
a couple of spots ahead of Brock Purdy. It showed that he was very inexperienced and not really well equipped for the moment, to say the least. The Dolphins were in the game for the majority of the
Obviously,
game.
The
Dolphins caused a lot of turnovers. I think their defense didn't get as much credit that they usually get, causing turnovers. Josh Allen had, I think, three fumbles and 2 interceptions. So he had a lot of turnovers in the game. So that's what ultimately kept them in the game, was the turnovers, the defense. And it kind of just came down to Skylar Thompson versus Josh Allen. Who's better? Obviously, it's Josh Allen.
So, Gary, can you give me a breakdown of this game without mentioning San Francisco or 49ers at all? Because Javon and I, we are not very good at that.
You guys are funny. Again, Vaughn hit it on point. To be honest with you, this game, they were up 2 by a lot. They let them come back. And again, Josh Allen, who's also in an iffy situation, because obviously, I mean, everyone keeps saying now like a great comparison, which you can really see it. Obviously, Brett Favre, the gunslinger, like he wants to make hero plays every single time, which is cool to see and it's fun to watch. One of the funnest teams to watch. But to be honest with you, like at some point, when you're cooking already and you're doing your thing, you got to trust your teammates, and it's good to be. That's why Tom Brady's the GOAT, because he's methodical, and sometimes you got to go the methodical way. Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes has me. You got to have spark. Don't get me wrong, magic plays, but you got to have those methodical moments. And obviously, since he lost his his coach last year going to the different team, he's been totally he's been totally out of it. He's been really doing back to his first year, throwing a lot of turnovers again, a lot of fumbles like Vaughn, and basically let him come back in this game. There's lucky Tua was in this game because I bet you they would probably had a chance to win this game, even though I know like my uncle posted should Tua play next year. That's what I wanted to hop into. Like, I think Tua, man, I think he should basically call it a wrap. I don't know his type of injuries for him personal self. Obviously, he loves his game. He wants to play football and play for the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? Should prove everyone wrong, everything like that. But I don't know, guys. It's just so tough when you see him go down, keep getting injured. Obviously, give him one more chance, but also kind of think he does have a ceiling. And obviously, the team is perfectly around him right now, and that's how football works. Like you guys see with the Niners. Here you go. I'll join you guys. Just see with the Niners. If everything's perfect, you can win with an average quarterback. But as a franchise long-term plan, I don't know. I don't really think he's a long-term plan. I really think they should. I know. I really want them to go get Brady or something like that. For something like a little cook-up for one.
The Dolphins already tried, and they almost got in trouble with tampering, trying to go get Brady.
Again.
Hold on. Okay, I was gonna move on, but I can't because of one particular word that Garry just said. He just said Brock Purdy is an average quarterback. Did you see that play? That wasn't like the catch,
bro. He's already great already. Come on now, bro. He's not even played a full season.
Did you see the play?
He's playing great right now. You guys start saying in the chat, he's like top 8 all time right now in the league. Come on now. Can you pump the brakes a little bit? He's doing great. You guys make me talk about it. He's doing great. He's doing great, guys. Okay, he's doing great.
When he wins again?
He's not okay. If he
great,
wins,
great does not equal average.
Long term, they didn't make LeBron the great player right enough after the first month. You know, you got to prove some time here. You know, you got to actually go full season. Can you get a full season, please? Please. I want to watch you guys' team go a little bit down. Is he going to still be great as he's doing what he's doing right now? That's all I'm saying. You guys want to make him like the GOAT already. I'm telling you, you guys are pushing the GOAT narrative already. I can tell.
The GOAT narrative is crazy.
just because I compared him to another quarterback, man.
That's because I called him average.
Hey man, you just contradicted yourself because when I pressed you about you saying he was average, you were like, he's playing great. Great does not equal.
No, I said I did average, great. Okay, you want to mix up the words there. Okay, he's playing good enough. It's good. It's kind of hard to It's kind of hard. Okay, that's what I'm trying.
Hold on. How is Brock playing good enough? How old are you? Old enough.
Okay, I'm gonna explain to you why. Okay, his numbers look great.
Good enough.
But when you actually watch him play, he's playing good. Like he's not making crazy plays. He's know what I'm saying. He's doing what he needs to do. He's getting to the playmakers and letting them cook. He's doing good in that sense. His numbers are great. That's what I'm trying to basically say. Let me to dig deep for you real quick. I'm gonna take another 10 seconds for you, Shaun.
Welcome to the Brock Purdy podcast here. Just kidding. No, but the last thing that I will say about the Dolphins, like on a serious note, like Tua's injuries, especially with the head injuries and the concussions, like it's a really scary thing. And I do think that he's going to give it a go again next year. He will be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins again next year. Okay, so that was that. I think so, but that was more on a serious note. On a lighter note. Now coming into the game for the Miami Dolphins is their backup quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, who is on an incentive-based contract. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up in Miami. Either he ends up in Miami as a high-paid backup, and Niners South. Either he ends up in Miami as a high-paid backup, or he ends up in New York as the starter for the Jets. We shall see.
They're two good destinations. They do need a good backup, though, obviously, because he has concussion problems.
Hey, Garry, what's the commonality? Garry, what's the commonality between those two destinations?
The coaching trees similar.
They both of their head coaches came from the Niners. They were both coordinated on the
Titans' new GM, who they just hired today.
I know, that's why I was like, that's actually good. That's a pretty good destination for him, Jimmy G, to actually go to.
All right, guys, now let's move on. This was the one game of the weekend that I got wrong, and for that reason, I'm not even going to put their name in the ticker. I'm just going to say the Giants eliminated the frauds as the Giants defeated the Vikings this past weekend, 31-24. Danny Dimes, he was looking good. So what did you like that you saw from Danny Dimes, Javon?
Did you see the guy at the game, the Giants fan, that had a dime of Daniel, like it was an actual dime?
I missed that.
The face of it was Daniel Jones' face on the dime.
No, I missed that too.
Love it.
It was hilarious. But nah, man, I thought the Vikings, being, only losing, I think it was like one game at home all season, I believe. And then
I believe so.
And then, it was 1 o'clock. Kirk Cousins, man. We kind of saw it happen. Daniel Jones, I think he made history. He was the only quarterback in NFL history to throw for 300 yards and rush for 70 yards in a playoff game. So shout out to Daniel Jones, who had his career resurrected, I guess. I mean, Brian Daboll is apparently the greatest fat guy since Biggie, according to the Instagram streets. That Daboll is the greatest.
Yeah,
fat guy
I'm saying he helped out Allen. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Earlier.
So, the combination of Daniel Jones running and then them be able to pound the ball with Saquon Barkley it's very underrated. And Daniel Jones being able to get hit guys like Isaiah Hodgins, I guess, is an emergence of one of their top receiver. Richie James is getting involved, making plays all over the field. It's just good to see. So we kind of saw with this Vikings offense how explosive they can be with the Dalvin Cook and the addition of T.J. Hawkinson and, obviously Justin Jefferson. We kind of saw Justin Jefferson kind of get slowed down a little bit, and they kind of said, make somebody else beat us. And it's not going to be Justin Jefferson. We want it to be Adam Thielen. We want it to be somebody else, but it's not going to be Justin Jefferson. And I thought the game plan for the Giants was amazing, and it kind of just wore down on them. And I thought the defense kind of played pretty stellar. We saw a lot of key plays from Kayvon Thibodeau, their first-round draft pick for the Giants this year. I thought the defensive line played really well. Just kind of all over. You saw that this team is just rejuvenated. You're seeing people compare to the Eli days when they were making their runs. But Eli wasn't able to move this much. And Daniel Jones, I think, is kind of resurrected himself as a quarterback, being able to run. He used his legs a lot in this game. And I thought it was weird that the Vikings didn't put a spy on Daniel Jones just because he was running. He was just taking off and running. When nobody was open,
lead rusher, 70 yards.
He would have run for like 15 yards. So I thought that the Giants had a game plan and they kind of stuck to it and it worked. And it was awful to see that Kirk Cousins threw it. It was just storybook that Kirk Cousins throws a check down on 4th and 8. He throws it 3 yards when they needed 8 yards. So,
man,
congrats to the Giants, man. Kevin called this one. I was going Skull all the way, and I thought that their team was better than the Giants team, but the Giants kind of came out firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I'm a little upset that I picked the Vikings in this one because I could have had a perfect 6-0 weekend with my picks, but
we all said that Vikings were frauds. That was like all of the common denominator was that the Vikings were frauds. We all kind of believed that.
And shout out to Kevin for being the one person to stand 10 toes down and pick against the Vikings in the opening round of the playoffs, because that's something that the three of us failed to do. And so I kind of wish that I picked the Giants just so I had a perfect weekend when it came to picks. But at the same time, I'm glad that I didn't, because if I had a perfect weekend of picks, I think I had a perfect weekend last year on Super Wildcard Weekend as well. And when you are perfect with your predictions and you don't put any money down on it, it is literally the worst feeling in the world. So I'm glad that I went 5-1, because if I went 6-0 without putting any money down on a parlay, I would have been disgusted. So Garry, you also picked the Vikings in this one. So were you ultimately surprised by the outcome, or did the better team win this one in their rematch?
Nah, this would kind of remind me like the Chargers game in my mind, not in terms of actual game itself, more like the sense of I was thinking these two teams are really close. Like we were talking about earlier, it's pretty hard to Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is having a great year. Kirk Cousins had a pretty good year too. You know what I'm saying? They both had a great years offensively, but obviously the more complete team was the Giants. I already knew that going into. Their defense was better. They've been rushing the ball better. But I just, like I said that last week, I was really banking on, Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook, and just this offense just to really go crazy one more time. And really just have a showing out party, just trying to help Cousins, get that primetime win. You had to throw that bling on him one more time at the end of the game. I don't know if they're doing that no more than playing you guys now. Like, God, like this is one of those two, like these teams that sometimes I feel like teams, like I said earlier, wait to make the change too late. Like they should already be looking to change Kirk Cousins already and try to get a good draft pick, something like that, and obviously draft some defense. But realistically, they're not. They're going to keep him again. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess this league, if you don't have a great quarterback, an average one, that's better than have no quarterback, they always say. So I would start looking into a late round pick into a quarterback. But obviously, for the first couple round picks, they're going to really need some defense because offensively, this is some prime time cookage. And I would also say, the coach came into this year and helped them really flip their offense around and help them. So that's a really good sign for them. They're frauds at the moment, I guess. We said they're frauds, right? And that was we were all right because we know they weren't going to go in the long run. But I did have a little belief that they can at least win the first playoff game. But it shows for you though, being 13-4, the record sometimes don't matter and don't show you what a real team is. And shout out to the Giants. They're really starting to prove themselves. Like you said, Brian Daboll really helped Daniel Jones' game. Obviously, I don't know how far they can go, but hey, it's pretty open right now, I guess you can say. But you know what? I'm still a little iffy on the Giants. They still give me a little bad tape, but they're doing a lot of good things right now, so you got to give them credit.
Yeah, you mentioned that 13-4 record that the Vikings had. The thing about that 13-4, well, the thing about no, you're good. The thing about that 13-4 record is that probably 8 to 9 of those wins could have just as easily been losses, and it ultimately caught up to them because their streak of luck came to an end, and it came to an end early here in the wild card round. And I just want to say one thing in closing, that I know that his boy Kevin isn't here, but Wes, where are you at? We haven't seen you at all. Wes is MIA. We're about to put Wes on the back of a milk carton because I don't know where the biggest Vikings fan that I know is at. Wes, where are you at? We wanted you to at least show up. There's a comment. Nope, it wasn't Wes. I'm disappointed. But hey, Skull.
Real quick.
Yeah, go
quick
ahead.
Question for you guys. Yes or no question. Would you guys build, if you're the Giants, keep them building around Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley? Because Saquon Barkley has been injured a lot. I know he had a good season, but he has been injured a lot. And Daniel Jones has been Daniel Jones for a couple of seasons now, just because of 1 year, Do you want to go all in? So that's what I'm saying. They're going to pay these boys soon. So would you guys pay him?
I would because I don't
think
know.
Daniel Jones gets a crazy contract though. He gets a contract that's
every quarterback contract though is goes up.
Probably like 100-something million, but he's not in that 40 million. Maybe he gets he's gonna get a raise, probably like 27.
You're gonna be asking for
a year.
Yeah,
he's got a playoff win.
I wouldn't pay them. I love Saquon. I just want to pay because the running back, I don't know, sad to say, I love running backs. I feel like they should get paid, but just based off what you see, we're not making this happen. What we see, the running backs don't get paid as much. You know what I'm saying? Really, last one I feel like was Ezekiel Elliott for a long-term deal. Other than that, really, how's that really worked? A lot of true running back leagues. So would I pay him? No. Daniel Jones, I'm still a little iffy on him.
I would say yes. If I had to make a decision right now, I would say yes, just because Brian Daboll has proven that he's kind of like the quarterback whisperer. He did it with Josh Allen, getting Josh Allen to correct all of his mistakes. Now he's doing it with Daniel Jones. However, I'll just say this and I'll leave it here, is that the one quarterback that Brian Daboll failed to develop. Any guesses, guys, off the top of your head, who's the one quarterback who Brian Daboll failed to develop in the last 10 years? No, it was actually Jalen Hurts when Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator at Alabama. It was Jalen Hurts was the one quarterback who Brian... I think it counts because Jalen Hurts was the established starter when Brian Daboll came in, and it just was not working so much that they had to replace the starting quarterback with the backup in the middle of a championship game, a national championship game.
Yeah,
that's how much it didn't work.
Won the game over. So, yeah.
To me, that just shows how much it didn't work. But hey, congrats to the Giants as they're moving on and they eliminate the frauds. Now, let's move on to Sunday Night Football. And this was Gary's favorite matchup of the weekend as two teams from his AFC North were battling. As the Ravens, they fell just short to the reigning AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, as the Bengals ultimately win this one 24-17. And what ultimately did decide this game was a costly turnover as Tyler Huntley, he tried to reach over the goal line for a QB sneak to score a touchdown. Ball gets knocked out. Sam Hubbard picks it up, scoop and score. That's the biggest gift he could have gotten as he takes it back for the touchdown, and that ultimately was the game's deciding touchdown. So, Garry, you are our AFC North expert, so I'm going to throw it to you on this one first. Did the better team win this game?
Yeah, the better team won this game. I think, like you said, we all picked this game right here for the Bengals to win. I feel like it should not have been close, but obviously, like I mentioned this weekend, and we've been saying all day, it's an in-division game. So at the end of the day, we knew it was going to be close. No matter how many times you beat someone, how many times you play. If you play them multiple times a year, you're going to know this team really well. So it's bound to be close, no matter really the situation. So as you can see, with a backup quarterback, the Ravens were still able to make it close. I just really feel bad at the Bengals again, already having a little iffy line and things of that nature. Just started kind of getting healthy and been cooking and rolling all cylinders towards the end of the year, and they get 3 offensive line injuries coming out of this game. And now they're going against the Bills this upcoming week, and it's really looking – it gets funny, though, because any team that you see that could actually get past this situation of losing 3 offensive linemen or having 3 offensive linemen banged up in a major way is the Bengals, because when they went Super Bowl run, they didn't have that good offensive line anyway. So if you want to make, let's say, the Bills and the Bengals this weekend play too close of games, there should be a little bit of a open eye looking, why were these games so close? Because you guys have been so dominant all year. But both of those games were in division games. So, you're going to give the Bengals the head nod for being clutch at the end and having Joe Burrow. They really couldn't get vertical all this game. So him be able to, just chop them down bit by bit and get this W, I think is good for the Bengals. And, and I kind of want to, after this, you guys want to go, let's touch upon, Lamar too, because we got to see what's happening. Him just not even being there in the building, I don't think it's a big deal. But it's just like, man, oh, man, what is happening with Lamar Jackson?
So, Javon, how about you answer that question then? What is going on with Lamar Jackson? Because he did tweet before the game the severity of his injury, that it was like a borderline grade 2, borderline grade 3 strain I'm sorry,
PCL,
I don't remember. Yeah, PCL. Like thank you. I didn't remember the specifics off the top of my head.
PCL and LCL.
Yeah. So what's going on with Lamar, Javon?
Well, I think he said in the tweet that he's still experiencing some inflammation in his knee. So maybe if he were to travel, like on a plane, it could probably swell. That might have something to do with it. But then again, you saw a guy in, I think it was on the Bills, Justin Poirier, or he drove like 12 hours to the game when he couldn't fly on the plane because he had like cracked ribs or something like that. So everything's different. Maybe the Ravens told him that he doesn't need to travel just because they're worried about his knee. But at the same time, he's posting cryptic tweets. He's seen Roquan get paid earlier in the week. He doesn't have a contract. I mean, it's just kind of.
Y'all ain't gonna see my face till I see the bag. Simple.
It's kind of just starting to feel like the beginning of the end here. I have came on and said on this podcast that I thought Lamar, if he was healthy, that he'd be out there. He's the leader of this team, and that, this team kind of rides or dies with Lamar Jackson. But kind of seeing how the Ravens played and almost won this game. They're literally 2 yards away from going up 24-17 and then having that 7-point swing by having Tyler Huntley jump 2 yards into the air, and ultimately literally the worst case scenario happened with Henriksen running it all the 100 yards back for a touchdown. So worst case scenario literally happened. Huntley did miss a throw to the fullback on the play before that. He was wide open. He could have just walked in the end zone there. But at the same time, you kind of see the side of, hey, we can win without Lamar Jackson. Versus, hey, we could have needed Lamar Jackson in these tight spots. So I think the Ravens are kind of just figuring out a way to kind of maybe package them up and just send them off, sign and trade them. And I think we've probably seen the last of Lamar in Baltimore.
Woo! The last of Lamar in Baltimore. That's pretty dramatic, but I think that could be the case. But like for the Ravens, it's like, who are they going to replace him with? That's the question to me. They can't. can't replace him with anyone. Like the best they can do is draft someone high in the draft and then just
Tyler
hope that they and we'll leave it at that. Okay, so
Trade
this
for
is
the Bears
the
quarterback.
Justin Fields
No.
on line one. Apparently, Mike Tannenbaum is trying to tell everybody and their mama that the Bears should trade Justin Fields, just so, and then take Bryce Young first overall. That's
Jets,
interesting.
ATL, the Dolphins. I could see him go a lot of places. I just wanted to say, like, before we move on from Lamar, I think he did the right thing.
Lamar's from Florida.
Yeah, exactly. That would be really nice if we go to Miami. Oh, that would be a big time upgrade from Tua. Whew. But and you got all the jet skis right there with Waddle and Tyreek. Man, anyways, I was just trying to say I just feel like Lamar needs that bag. Simple. That's my last point, Lamar. He deserves that bag. I don't know why we are even making him wait. I feel like he should feel disrespected. To be honest with you,
got the money and he's not.
All these players getting money. What do you think when Joe Burrow and the Bills quarterback? How am I forgetting right now? How am I getting his name right now? Yeah, Herbert, Josh Allen, Herbert. All these guys, they're all going to get paid. Trevor Lawrence, you can add all of them to the list. They're all going to get paid. They have not won an MVP yet. This guy's sitting with an MVP. Unanimous MVP. You ain't getting paid. I want to say this two last things. Send them. They would never do this, but send them to Pittsburgh. We'll send you Pickett. We'll send you Pickett back. Man, oh man, I love it. We'll send you Pickett. There you go. Since you guys don't want to pay nobody, you guys don't got to pay them.
They need.
Oh
Pickett.
man, they would not send Lamar Jackson to us. They're gonna see him twice a year. But oh my god,
they need like y'all whole offense for Lamar back. That's what y'all have to give up. Y'all have to give up Najee. Y'all have to give up Najee, Pickett.
No, they're actually not. They're not. No, they're not even in any. They're gonna get gypped on that trade in this sense because Lamar can. I'm gonna sit out. Y'all not gonna have no quarterback. He's gonna you guys dictate where he wants to go?
Did you guys like how I just left our little StreamYard meeting room just for about 15 to 20 seconds because I just had to be dramatic because, Gary, you talk about some of the blasphemy that Javon and I spew out of our mouths when it comes to the 49ers. I just heard Gary say that the Ravens should trade their quarterback to their number one rival, for Kenneth Pickett. Pickett.
He's going on TikTok.
No, I didn't say it was a good trade for them. I'm just saying, if you guys don't want him, send him here. Since you guys don't value my guy, they don't value my guy.
And we'll give you Kenny Pickett. I think.
Well, obviously they wouldn't do it. But if you don't value that guy, we'll show you we value him. Simple. We value Lamar. I know what you can do as a Pittsburgh fan. I know what you can do, bro.
Let's just file. We'll just file that one under the things that aren't going to happen. All right, guys. Now,
I would never put no money on that. Obviously.
Just write it in the notebook. Kenny Pickett for Lamar Jackson. Yes or no? That's what okay. All right, guys. Now let's move on to the final game of Super Wild Card Weekend, and this was the only one that everyone got it wrong except for me, and that was the Bucks being blown out by the Dallas Cowboys. It made me sick to do it, but I was the only one to pick the Cowboys to win this game.
Did you actually want to do that though?
Yeah, because it was stats over politics. The politics in me wanted to pick against the Cowboys because that's what every fiber of my being wanted me to do. But the contrarian in my brain was like, no, the Cowboy. The thing about this game is that the Cowboys proved all season long that they were the better team. The Bucks continue to prove all season long that for the first 3 quarters, their offense is invisible. And they even tried to pull that shit out of their ass in this one. They scored a touchdown.
That Mike Evans throw with 2 minutes to go was like, can this actually happen? The greatest comeback ever by the GOAT?
Yeah. But, the Cowboys, they ultimately ended up defeating the Buccaneers 31-14 on Monday Night Football last night. How'd you mess up? What's going on?
I just noticed why am I wearing blue and white right now?
It's because you're a closeted Cowboys fan, and we understand that. I'm sure that Julian loves that as well. Anyways, guys, so Javon, I'm gonna go to Garry on this one first because Garry, I just want to get your thoughts on this game in general and also on Tom Brady. Like, do you think this is it for Tom Brady? If it isn't, where does he go next? Does he stay with Tampa? There's a whole lot to discuss. So pick and choose where you want to go with this one.
Again, put myself in a situation. I'm watching this game with Cowboy fans, my family, and it was not pretty. God. It was not pretty, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This was a big shocker. This was a major shocker. I did not think,
to me.
No, come on, but even the way they got blown out, Shaun, did you think there was going to be a complete blowout? I don't know. We got to go back. I don't know if you even thought they were going to cover like that. But I just feel like really like the Cowboys showed up and they showed up and showed out as they should have because they played a stinker last week. So there's probably really, like we talked about, I always talk about, it's really hard to do two stinkers back to back. And it's really hard to do really two games back to back. So them pulling out a stinker last week and coming out great this week, smacking Brady them in the mouth. I just feel bad for Brady, man. He's over here barely having any time to throw. Team, no, I do not love the Cowboys. I hate y'all so much, but it's all good. Don't worry, y'all runs ending next week for sure against the Niners. I see. I'm still going for the Niners, y'all. I'm still going for the Niners for y'all. I still got y'all going to the NFC Championship. But anyways, but you got to give credit, man. I ain't gonna lie. One person you can't hate on this team is Dak. Dak, man, he played showed out this week. You got to give him credit where credit is due. He played like his hair was on fire. He was hitting everything. They were just hitting on all cylinders. Every player was involved. They were just looking great. Their defense was bringing up pressure all over Tom. Tom kept moving around. It looked like he was kind of scared to get hit. And it's like, and Shaun kind of asked like, okay, what do you think Mr. Brady's going to do? I think we're going to dive into it more in a few weeks here. But I feel like Tom, got obviously weigh if he wants to retire, which I highly doubt it because I don't see him going out that way. But obviously he got to contemplate, does he want to go to a new location and starting over at his age? That's like a lot of stuff for him to do. If he wants to go anywhere, he's going to go somewhere familiar, like people have been talking about the Raiders, maybe the Dolphins and things of that nature. But the sad part is it's kind of, I want to say this, but it's kind of in a sense, it's a little bit similar. It's kind of where LeBron's at right now. Like, all right, you can put up great numbers. You can make all the throws. LeBron can make all the dunks, all the way up still. You know what I'm saying? He can still score. But he's still like carrying-wise, what makes them makes them all great, like having that carrying gene. I don't know if he can carry others no more. Like he kind of needs the carrying, which is fine. They're both at old ages. They should be giving a little more help than usual. They're at the tail end of their primes. And it's like, which team is going to give him the opportunity? Like, it's kind of hard to say, like, okay, all these teams are naming. Like, realistically, the best team for him is you guys, the Niners. That's like the best team for him. But are you guys going to do that? You guys already kind of denied him twice. And it's like,
why would you guys? 3 QBs.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, why would you do that? But then it's like, bro, you don't want Tom for 1 year? It's like, for 1 year, why not? But like, it's hard to like put other people on hold. And you know what I'm saying? It's like hard to like delay because it's like LeBron, like you want to invest, but it's like a couple years and you're gonna have a perfect situation for him. It's just so many things. Because like right now, you would take half the league. You would take Tom Brady over half the league, right? You know what I'm saying? But then when you start thinking about the situation he needs to go to, that's when it starts getting a little iffy. So that's why I feel like there's actually limited spots, even though we would really say like, bro, we're taking Tom Brady over half these quarterbacks. But realistically, when it comes to situation, it's pretty hard.
Hey, Javon, that one meme that comes from GTA where it's the character walking off into the street and it just says, "Oh shit, here we go again." That's how I'm feeling about this whole Tom Brady situation because if you recall, Javon, and the reason why I'm directing this towards Javon is because a well-known 49ers fan on this podcast, is that if you recall, after the 49ers lost the Super Bowl in 2020, there was a certain quarterback who became a free agent for the first time in his career, and he wanted to go to the 49ers, and they told him no in favor of Jimmy James Garoppolo. And it was because, and yeah, I said Jimmy James instead of James Jimmy, whatever. Anyways, they went in favor of Jimmy James Garoppolo. And the 49ers turned down Tom Brady. And then Tom Brady went on the shop later on and he was saying, yeah, when I played that team, I wanted to fuck them up. Yeah, that's what he was saying. Apparently,
about the Raiders.
Apparently,
so many teams we talked about.
Exactly. There's a lot of teams that could have potentially got Tom Brady. Anyways, here we are again, except 3 years later. Yes, Tom Brady has won a Super Bowl since he last wanted to come to the 49ers, but he's really on the back end of his career, and like the most back end. Like if we're gonna compare this to golf, he's on hole number 18 right now. So anyways, Javon, before we get to our predictions, because we're pretty much just gonna put a bow on Super Wild Card Weekend, and we can just get to this with Tom Brady. If you were John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, Javon, would you take Tom Brady for 1 year and have to shove Trey Lance and Brock Purdy to the bench, or do
trade
you
Trey Lance?
Let's trade Trey Lance when his value is nearly nothing. Yeah, great idea.
You can get something for him and then have Brock Purdy and then have Brady sitting right there and helping him, teaching him.
Gary, think to yourself, the 49ers invested
already got
3 first-round picks in the guy.
It's football,
and
man.
So
Let it go.
They're not even
going to get
3 picks. If they tried to trade Trey Lance right now,
hold on,
they could probably maybe get a late first-round pick.
Right.
Not 3 of them. Why would you trade him when his value is
an all-time low? Would you trade 3 picks for Super Bowl?
Would I trade 3 picks?
3 picks for Super Bowl. How many picks would you trade for Super Bowl?
Yes, I would trade all the picks.
That's what you're basically doing. Just forget about the picks now. They're gone. They're already gone now, bro. Don't worry about it. You're trying to recoup and stuff like that. That's how you can't be like that as a manager.
Trey Lance, but the point is Trey Lance is not walking through that door this year. That's in a hypothetical of next year. You're asking me about a Super Bowl in terms of Brock Purdy leading them to the Super Bowl. Trey Lance does not factor into that discussion.
I'm thinking
we're talking about next season.
To win if you guys win Super Bowl. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. Is Brady
a
Brock
free
Purdy
agent after this year? Is he a free agent?
Disrespect that, man. Who? Brady's a free agent.
Okay, yeah. So I think I saw something about him saying that he has like a no tag clause, so the Bucks can't tag him, so he's going to be unrestricted.
No, he's
go wherever he wants
right now.
So I think the Tom Brady window has kind of closed already. If we were to have gotten him, it should have been the year. Remember when he threw the pick and people, he was leaving New England, and the Titans just beat him and all this other stuff. And
same thing like this game looked really bad.
The Titans just, and I don't know, man. I don't think Tom Brady doesn't look the same to me. He looks old.
Because his team around him, bro. I'm telling you, if he goes to your team, I'm not giving you guys the chip. I'm telling you, this is the way to get a ring, guaranteed.
Coaching has a huge thing to do with it. Bruce Arians being an offensive coach, Todd Bowles being a defensive coach. It kind of, maybe doesn't mesh as well because, we've just heard things, about him and Bill, but he had Josh McDaniels. That was kind of his guy, but Bill's a more, conservative defensive coach. And you can tell when a defensive coach is calling plays versus.
What's a higher percentage of you guys win the Super Bowl next year, with or without Tom Brady?
I just think right now where we're at as a team, because we have already drafted Trey Lance and wasted all those picks on him, and we have seen the emergence of Brock Purdy and
you could send back down, brother. He's only a rookie.
I'm saying the type of production
learning from the GOAT
from Brock Purdy
I'm helping you guys
right now is better than a 45-year-old Tom Brady right now. So I will pass on the Tom Brady. Tom Brady ticket right now.
You guys trying to be all. That's why you guys got your ass. To see you bitching ass the first time. You ain't want to learn. Don't get your ass bit again. Watch.
Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, but this is not the New England dynasties. This isn't the first year when he went to Tampa was lightning in a bottle. Bruce Arians getting Antonio Brown was on that team.
They had a good last year too.
Gronkowski, just the window. I think for the Bucks was that 2 years, and the thing that kind of broke them was that Cooper Kupp pass over the middle in the playoffs, and that's kind of what I think shut that window. And then Bruce Arians moved to front office, Todd Bowles stepping up to be the head coach, and everything's kind of starting to spiral out of control. What's his name is getting fired. They fired their OC,
Leftwich,
and Brian Leftwich. That's correct. So I think if Brady leaves, I think he goes to probably the Raiders. But at the same time, he's got $300 million. He's got $300 million waiting for him in broadcasting. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just said, "Fuck it, I'll call it quits. I got 7 rings." But there's something in me that's telling me that Tom Brady does not want to quit playing football, and he's probably going to go I'd say Dolphins or Raiders. Those are the only reason I say the Raiders is because McDaniel's there. That's his guy.
I think those are the realistic options.
Wherever he goes, Gronk is supposedly going to join him. So
they also said
I don't believe that. I think Gronk is completely done. Otherwise, Gronk would have been there this year. Instead, they have Cade Otton and Cameron Brate. So okay, so Gary, the reason why I'm gonna pass on Tom Brady, and you say, "Hey, don't mess up again. You already messed up in 2020. Don't mess up again." Gary, the difference is that Tom Brady is 3 years older, and it's not like he's 3 years older in his 20s. It's not like he's 3 years older in his 30s. He's 3 years older in his 40s. And this year, whether if you think the weapons around him haven't been enough, like this year, he has truly shown his age. And if he didn't, if this season didn't cost him his marriage, then I would think that this would have been it for him, because this season is what truly showed him that he was declining.
We don't know that. You've been in his marriage. You had his marriage counseling. You was at his divorce counseling. You was at his trial. Come on now, bro. Don't be putting that on.
I got Giselle online.
Exactly. Don't be putting that in people's personal business. I stand on that. On this show, we don't talk about personal business. We only speak about.
I just think this year Tom Brady just doesn't look the same. I mean, he did throw for
his offensive line horrible. This is what I'm trying to say.
5,000 yards, but
Shaun,
if you watch the tape, I just think that Tom Brady just doesn't have that zip that he usually does, and that's even from 2 years ago.
Yeah, he didn't zip when the pass yesterday to Jones on the money, going up the sideline. Mike Evans dropped on the money on the sideline. Come on, bro.
Flashes, for sure. He threw the ball. That's
what I was trying to say earlier. Okay. He can't go to those teams we're naming. They're not perfect situations. You're right. He can't go to a non-perfect situation. Like I said earlier, he can't carry. It's hard for him to go to these teams. Like you said, the Raiders would be nice, but the offensive line is horrible. So he's going to be moving and grooving out the way again. Not enough time to throw into his guys. Again, same thing kind of with a little bit with the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? You have to do quick throw. At least they got a lot of under guys to help them out with speed. But I want him to go to the Niners. I don't want him to. I think this is the best for Brady, and I think it's the best for you guys. Because literally, you guys are built, ready-made for 1 year to really put the icing on the cake, bring the hometown kid hero home. I don't even like you guys. I always hated Brady. I told you this, but this is just a perfect story narrative for him. We take you guys to a chip, teach the young Brock Purdy some little tools. You think he don't want to learn from the GOAT? And boom, bada bang, y'all in it next year just for 1 year.
He beat the GOAT.
I think for 1 year, it really help you guys. I know you guys are going to be good without them still, to be honest with you. But I think for 1 year, for both ways, I think it'll be really good for you guys and him.
Okay, so you want
to.
So the main
Tom Brady this year.
So the main difference for me between 2020 and 2023 isn't only the fact that Tom Brady is 3 years older, but you also need to compare what the 49ers have or had versus what they could have, because it was Jimmy Garoppolo versus Tom Brady, and that was even Jimmy Garoppolo. That was Jimmy Garoppolo at his peak of what he was
Jimmy
during
G right there.
And that's the reason why the 49ers went with Jimmy G instead of Tom Brady. Okay. That was Jimmy G versus Tom Brady. Now in this hypothetical discussion, we're just going to act like Jimmy G is already gone. He's in New York or Miami. Now it is Trey Lance / Brock Purdy, because both of them are under contract next season. Trey Lance / Brock Purdy or Tom Brady. I'm going to take Trey Lance or Brock Purdy over Tom Brady. And the main reason why is because they can do of what he is now, they can do physically just as much as he can do with all the checkdowns to Christian McCaffrey.
They're nowhere
and George
near
Kittle,
his head. You can combine
5
quarterbacks together, 10 quarterbacks. What? They're nowhere near his mental.
It's okay.
There's a lot of guys who can do
and that's why I said physical. That's why I said.
But why are you combining those two players together versus Tom Brady? I'm telling you, get rid of Trey Lance. Who do you like more, Trey Lance or Brock Purdy? You only keep it one now. Who do you like more?
They're both.
They're both. Everyone wants 49. Everyone wants the 49ers to do an either or. It's like they can keep both. You're gonna have to choose one to be a starter, but you can keep both.
On a team. We know this. That's history. There ain't never been a 2-quarterback Super Bowl champion ever. You gonna pick one quarterback. Who you want? Which y'all seen so far? Y'all are Niner fans. Who you want?
We don't know yet. We'll see.
I like how
we don't know yet. We'll see.
Okay. It's fair. It's fair. If you don't know yet, it's fair. I'm just wondering. You know what I'm saying? Shaun, you can't have two quarterbacks. Don't act like you can have two quarterbacks here.
Gary, the point is that this is what they already have. You have the option of either or to be your starter. One of them is going to be your backup. Yeah, you have either or as a starter.
I want the GOAT for a year.
And what I was trying to say is that when it comes to what they can do physically, Brock Purdy or Trey Lance, I'm just as confident in them throwing 5-yard passes because that's all Tom Brady would do for the 49ers. And at that point, I would rather have the legs of a Trey Lance or a Brock Purdy. Hey, run it back. It's 10:28 p.m. on January 17, 2023. I don't want the 49ers to get Tom Brady because I would rather have Brock Purdy or Trey Lance instead for 2023 because I think that they give them a better chance to win.
But I don't know why you're knocking Brady. He's going to throw 5-yard passes and he's not going to be able to move. You act like he's been moving for the last 20 years. He ain't moving the last 20. So what do you mean he's going to move? He been cooking the league. He ain't been moving. I know. Don't get me wrong. Like half the league is a lot of. You have to have a little running involved. Don't lie. A lot of things you can have a little.
We
running.
don't need him. That's the thing. We don't. Need
that shoulder just ain't the same anymore. It's just not the same anymore.
Man, you're disrespectful, man. I hate, man.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Hey, man.
I can help y'all. I'm trying to help y'all. It's all good.
All I gotta say is that I was the only one to tell you guys that Tom Brady was declining this year and that he wouldn't win a playoff game because of it. And we saw what hapappened.
Max Kellerman got right 7 years ago.
How about all the second time you picked against him?
Yeah. Tom Brady apparently fell off a cliff 7 years ago. According to,
that's what I'm saying.
I think it was three.
Three
since then.
I bet you Shaun was a little bit like that too. I can't remember the takes. I gotta look.
I learned not to bet against Tom Brady. Would I pick
Tom Brady's a bum?
All right, with that we're gonna move on.
He said that.
That's what Kellerman said.
Oh, I thought you said Shaun said that.
No, Gary. Gary got a little excited there. All right, here we are, episode 10 of Stats Over Politics. Shaun Holko alongside Javon Toddy and Gary Singh. Our man Kevin Dent is over in international waters on his honeymoon as Javon shows us the Kirk Cousins dance that we will not be seeing any longer. All right, guys, that was the recap of Super Wildcard Weekend. Now let's make some predictions for this upcoming weekend. And we're not only going to pick the winner, the outright winner of the game. And if you're a betting person, we're not going to just pick the money line. We are also going to factor in the spread. But before we get to the spread, for all of you degenerate bettors out there like myself, let's just get to the game itself and just the winner straight up. So, Javon, Chiefs and Jaguars. Javon's going with the Chiefs. I think this one's going to be an easy one. I'm also going to go with the Chiefs. Gary, do you make it unanimous?
5 turnovers, they're winning by 40.
You said not the spread?
Yeah, no, this is just straight up.
I'll take the spread too. Right. 7 and I think it's 8.5.
It's 8.5, but I got Chiefs. Ain't no question. I got my Chiefs is all I got, man. They win the Super Bowl. That's the pick right now.
Okay, so we're all going with
points.
Going with the Chiefs in this one. So Javon, are you also going to go with the Chiefs minus the points in this one? As you said, it's 8.5.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the points.
All right.
No, I'm not.
And okay.
Ooh.
So
close game.
I'm taking the Chiefs minus the points as well. I think that the
Chiefs won about them. They never cover. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
Vaughn should know that. He bets the 5 bets from a lot. They never cover, bro. They never cover. I know, bro.
It's my first game in the playoffs this year. That's why I'm saying. I think it's circumstantial, but usually they don't never cover.
All right, guys. Now let's move on to the other game that is on Saturday, and this is an NFC East battle between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. I think it's safe to say that Kevin is picking the Eagles to win this game as he has them winning the Super Bowl. So I'm going to jot Kevin down, picking the Eagles in this one. Gary, who are you picking between the Eagles and the Giants?
Kevo.
I got the Giants still. I got them still going.
Whoa. Giants
the Eagles. I'm tripping.
I
got the Eagles still. I got the Eagles.
Hey, Javon, we should have just let that one ride.
You can try. I was gonna start talking about Jalen Hurts.
I'm gonna stick with the Giants. You know, Jalen Hurts has been pretty great this year.
I try to fake y'all. No, I was excited. I was reading this anyways. I got the Eagles. Obviously, I read this article today that they know about Jalen Hurts basically not feeling 100% like we already knew that. So I thought maybe the 2 weeks would get him close to it. He don't really sound the way in the interview, the way the article was wrote. Doesn't really sound like he's 100%. Really, he sounds like he's like 70%. To be honest, the way he's talking, it's like 60%. Like he's not feeling as good as he should. Hopefully, his 2 weeks can help him out. This team was rolling, and hopefully they will caught fire at the beginning of the year, as we know, kind of tailed off towards the end, causing most likely Jalen Hurts to lose the MVP or at least be more close in the MVP race. This team has been, Kevin's team all year. I just been saying all year they've been playing great. We'll see if they can prove it. Have someone really found out a way to stop them? I really don't think so. I think they'll be rolling here. I think this game is going to come down to the time of possession and who's going to be basically controlling the clock really and really running the ball a lot. Who's going to be controlling really on the ground. And I think the Eagles are going to be controlling that game. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to be a little rusty in the beginning, as he should be, but I think they're going to be able to weather a little storm if the Giants are going to be able to throw. Are they going to be able to capitalize on the rustiness in the beginning? We'll see. But I think I got the Eagles winning this one right here. Moving on to the NFC Championship game.
So, Javon, I am also picking the Eagles in this one. So, are you going to make it unanimous alongside Kevin?
Yeah. Alongside Kevin. You sure Kevin's picking the Eagles, guys?
Hey, man, I think it's safe to assume.
I saw this team with Davis Webb and the boys go toe-to-toe with this same Eagles team in Week 18, and a beat-up Jalen Hurts kind of just – they threw him out there because they needed this game to win because they needed that week off of rest. So I'm taking the Giants here. Woo! With the point spread, not the W.
I was gonna say that too. I was like, no, they cover.
I think the Giants do.
I'm disappointed.
Cover here. I saw Danny Dimes kind of get out there and wow America pretty much with his performance against the Vikings. But I think this Eagles team is stacked. You got the skinny Batman, you got the swole Batman, you got Darius Slay on the back end of that defense. Lane Johnson, I saw us practicing, so it's a weird stat. Like every time that Lane Johnson plays, the Eagles win. So a right tackle is very important to the Eagles, I guess. But Kev usually lays everything out with the particulars. I think Jalen Hurts. I think we'll still kind of see him a little banged up. He might miss a couple of throws because he's not entirely 100%. But I do think the Eagles, home crowd, they get a home playoff game. The NFC runs through Philly. Wouldn't be surprised if all the Philly legends are out there. Meek Mill, Kevin Hart, all the Philly guys out there kind of supporting the Eagles. Gilly the Kid will probably be at the game. But I think it's going to be rocking. I think the game's going to be close. So I take the Giants to cover, but I do think the Eagles, being the better team that they are, pull out the victory.
Again, in division game. I was going to mention real quick.
Another
if they lose, Giants should lose. But, hey, let's if my Steelers would have made it, whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? They already kind of heard proof on, expectations. I forgot how they say that saying, but expectations are based on reality, I think it is. And reality is they're happy to even be here and winning the game. So let's just be honest with you, Giants fans. Y'all building something. Don't know what it is.
I think the talent, there's a gap in talent level. If you just look at rosters, Eagles just have way better talent.
I think they won by 21 last time, 14. I seen it today on ESPN. I forgot the number, but I know they won by a lot the last time they played them this year. I mean, they beat them twice this year, so.
Well, last time they played was the 2 weeks ago, but the time when everybody was healthy, they blew them out.
Yeah, that was at the Giants' home field, and our friend Antoine Weary was there to see his team absolutely get the brakes beaten off of him. So I hope he enjoys seeing his team lose again this weekend. But hey, they got
third time in a row.
So Javon, so the spread in this one is 7.5. You say that the Eagles, they will not cover that. I don't think that they're going to cover either because, like Garry said, it's a
don't be
divisional
surprised
game.
if the Giants win. Don't be surprised.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna say for Kevin that the Eagles do cover the 7.5. No, I think Kevin thinks that the Eagles
the spread, Garry.
Yeah, Garry. Do the Eagles cover the spread at 7.5?
I think Giants cover the spread. But I can see a cheap touchdown this one at the end. I'm not gonna lie. This is giving me that feeling right now, Vaughn. The cheap touchdown at the end. They were not supposed to cover, but they end up covering. That's what it feels like right now. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna say the Giants, they cover.
All right, guys. Now this is gonna likely be the best game of the weekend, and this is Bills versus Bengals. And just to clarify, this game will be played.
Game, huh? It's supposed to be the best game of the weekend. I thought maybe you're going to say, the primetime they got slated at the end of the night.
Oh, we don't get to that. Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
I'm just trying to see Shaun's words. Go ahead. Keep going, Shaun.
I'll save it for the next segment. Bills versus Bengals in what I think will be the best and most competitive game of this weekend. And just to be clear, this game will be played in Buffalo.
I think we were saying that was at a neutral site.
Yeah,
that
but
was for the AFC Championship game.
Only the AFC Championship game. Only, as I originally thought, only the AFC Championship game. So this game will be played in Buffalo. And as we know, for those of you who tuned into last week's episode of Stats Over Politics, I'm riding with the Mafia, and I got them winning it all. So I'm definitely picking the Bills to win this game against the Bengals. The point spread. Shaun? The point spread is -5. I am nervous. I know, like I am legitimately nervous.
It's a close one to you, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, the Bills are actually favored by 5 points in
disrespectful.
This game. And to me, yeah, the Bills do not cover that. The Bengals cover. So I'm going to say that the Bills win this game outright, but they do not cover those 5 points. So Garry, how about you? First, give me your outright winner, and then whether or not they cover those 5 points.
I got the Bengals. I think someone should put a -3 favorite points towards their side. They should get points their way, even though Bengals I know they're. Yeah, I think Bengals -3. I think this is how they should. I know I was home field. The real spread at least consists of the home field. It should be +3 at least. No, -3 for the Buffalo, like because they're at home. But realistically, if I was doing this money, that's how I would put it. I think the Bengals should win this game, guys. I know this game last time let's play wasn't able to get finished due to sad situation. Damar Hamlin, shout out to him. Hopefully everything's going smooth and great. Glad to hear him come speak up that he's doing great and all the love. So shout out to him, and hopefully he keeps getting better. So this is gonna be one of the Bengals. I got the Bengals too, Garry. Yes, sir. We're gonna see. That's what I'm saying. I had to read
that was from James for our audio only listeners. That was from our guy James in the YouTube.
Yeah, shout out to James. Appreciate you, James, rocking with me. But now I was gonna say I think I got the Bengals too. I think even though their line is messed up, the only team that could really, I think Von Miller would have been really a game changer this one. Just FYI, he would have been a big time game changer right now. Probably would have been this would have been a Von Miller special game. I probably would have switched sides just for him playing. But him not playing and the Bengals, I just feel like they're gonna have their number, and I just feel like again we talked about earlier, man. If he throws 3 interceptions, any type of turnover, this is about to be a turnover game. Whoever gets the most turnovers will win the game. Whoever makes the most mistakes will lose the game. Simple. I know that's pretty simple to say. You can say about every game, but these teams are so tight and so close, and the talent level is so close, and it can go either way. Just a couple plays here and there, third down conversions, couple little run backs. Everything's going to be really down to the T in this one. So my thing is, I'm really gonna be looking to switch it up a little bit. Which quarterback or receiver do you guys think is gonna have a good game this game? That's go a little way, other than
I think so. Shout out to Kevin because he continuously doubts big game Gabe Davis, and I think that Josh Allen and big game Gabe Davis are gonna combine for at least another touchdown in this game, maybe 2. So anyways, I'm going with the Bills, but I don't think that they cover. And Garry is going with the Bengals, and he does think that they cover. Javon, who are you going with in this one? And keep in mind that the Bills are favored by 5 points.
I'm definitely gonna have to go with the Bengals on this one. I think just the Joe Burrow swagger, confidence that this Bengal teams have in the playoffs, and it kind of shows. We saw it through all of last year's playoffs. From wild card to the last seconds of the Super Bowl, and then like I said on last week's podcast, the window is every year that I'm playing is the Super Bowl window. So I thought that when the Bengals and Bills kind of got matched up 2 weeks ago with the whole Damar Hamlin situation, I picked the Bengals to win that game, and I rightfully thought that the Bengals would have won that game, just based off of what we saw earlier in the game and how the game kind of would have transpired out throughout the rest of the game. But obviously that tragedy happened, and we're here now with the Bills getting home field advantage now. And the whole coin flip scenario, this, that, and the third. And I'm definitely going to have to go with the Bengals. If you were betting and you're too afraid to bet Bengals money line, which is +185, I believe, I would take the Bengals and the points because they could still lose, but you could still win if you're still trying to win money. But if you're a gambler like me, I'm taking Bengals money line because you'd be in plus money. You'd probably almost double your money at that point. So I think we saw a lot of turnovers from Josh Allen in that wild card game against the Dolphins. And we saw the Bengals were obviously able to capitalize off turnovers by running a 100-yard fumble back for a touchdown. So if the Bengals are able to create turnovers, I think they're going to be in great shape. And I think the Bills are going to learn that they can't be too reliant on Josh Allen. I feel like every great team has to have a run game in the playoffs because that runs the clock. They're able to make plays off play action. I don't think the Bills have that particular run game. I think the Bengals do. Now, granted, the Bengals are missing some linemen off of their O-line. They had a lot of injuries to their O-line in the Ravens game, so that might be why they are -5. I feel like if everybody was healthy, the line would be closer to 2.5, 2. But I think due to those O-line injuries, you're seeing that line kind of go up to 5. So, with that being said, I still am going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals.
People are sleeping on though. Both of the good. Real quick, Shaun, my bad. I was saying people are sleeping on both of his defenses are good. So we're going to see, who's going to be. Again, back to us turnovers. We're going to see who's going to get that one.
All right, guys. Now let's get to the last game of the weekend. As you mentioned earlier, Gary, this game is in the primetime slot of the weekend, and I think it's appropriate because it's two teams that primetime used to play for, and that is the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers, who have a storied run that back. The Cowboys and 49ers have a storied playoff history as shown by ESPN. The Cowboys have 36 total playoff wins in their history. 49ers have 35. The 49ers have been to 17 conference championship games. Cowboys have been to 14. Both teams have won 5 Super Bowls, and that is all those stats are top 2 among current NFC teams. And something else that was interesting that came out from ESPN is that their FPI model, which is basically just a projection model, gives the Cowboys the slight edge to win this game, as ESPN's FPI says that the Cowboys have a 52% chance to win this game and the 49ers 48. However, Vegas disagrees, as Vegas is favoring the 49ers by 4 points in this game. I'll just come outright real quickly, and I will just say that I think that the 49ers win this game outright. I think they beat the Cowboys, and the Cowboys, they have to wait another year to try and get revenge for their terrible loss last year to the 49ers in the playoffs, especially with that late game execution. I think late game execution factors into this one as well, as we know that is not one of Mike McCarthy's strong suits. So I'm picking the 49ers to win this game outright. And I think that they win by 6 points. So I'm going to take the 49ers minus the points as well. Javon, you are also a 49ers fan on this podcast. And for the listeners who tuned in last week, they know that you picked the 49ers to win the whole damn thing. So you're picking the 49ers to win this game outright. Are you picking them -4?
I'm definitely taking the Niners and the points. We've seen this movie before last year. A wild card round. Going into Dallas with Jimmy Garoppolo, by the way. This is Jimmy Garoppolo who's playing quarterback. We're not getting the same production in the playoffs with with the numbers that Jimmy
he had like a 6-yard like a 6-yard pass game or something last year.
Yeah, we're getting an explosive we're getting a more explosive version of Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not afraid to throw the ball downfield. And yes, he is a rookie, and his name is Brock Purdy. Purdy, baby. So this time
my God,
they got to come to San Francisco. And I think, we got to give credit to where credit is due. Dak Prescott played a hell of a game on Monday night. I think our advantage kind of comes in. We get a couple of days more, able to study more film. With that being said, we got to see last night's game. Kind of just having a little bit more preparation. The Cowboys have to go on the road to play. And I think that with the Niners and all of their I just think the Niners are better this year And I think the Cowboys aren't as good. I think the Cowboys were better last year, in my opinion. So I'm going to take the Niners and the -3.5 spread as well. I think the Niners win outright and they cover the spread as well.
Okay, Gary. So you're the mystery man on this one. Who you going with outright, and are you taking the Niners -4 or the Cowboys +4?
I don't know if you guys even noticed. I want to do like the pop out thing Shaun did right there, but I didn't want to mess up my whole studio thing, so I'm going to turn off my camera. But anyway, because you said
I voted you out for a quick 5 seconds. I did see that. I caught that.
I was like Glock Purdy. Oh my god, did we just really say that right now, Ron? Really?
Okay, all right. Hold on. Here's something better. Big Cock Brock. Is that better for you?
Hey, we got children watching this. Careful, buddy. All right. Anyway,
that's why there is the explicit tag on our podcast. Please continue.
This is right. This is a horrible game for me to pick, y'all. You know I hate you, Niner fans, and the Cowboy fans are right here, and I hate y'all both right there. And it's always like, who do I hate more? Because it's just crazy. And you know what? It's like North Cal. No, I'm just saying, like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I really hate you guys both. I don't know who to pick, but I actually know who I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick the same team I picked last year. I'm gonna pick the team that I see is gonna go to the NFC Championship game. I'm picking your 49ers. Like I said, you guys are juggernauts. You guys are doing great. My brother just walked into the room and flicked me off and said, F, he's doing the D Generation X to me right now. Everyone knows the DX. So, but then the funny thing is y'all both played so great. So it's like someone has to come back to earth now a little bit. Like, and it's going to be who's going to come farther back down to earth. And I think the Cowboys are going to be a little bit crashing down. I am gonna say though, I don't really want to do this. I'm gonna do this because I already did. I like close games. I'm picking Cowboys to cover. Okay, I'm picking the Cowboys to cover. Niners by 50. James, that's crazy. His name is James, right? Dang, that's crazy. But anyways, I was just gonna say I picked them to cover. I know Uncle's gonna say that.
Yeah, and for the audio only listeners, Gary's uncle said in the YouTube comments that he's not allowed to come over anymore.
But no, I was just gonna say, man, I actually do kind of see Michael Parsons causing some havoc for you guys, and if he does, this is gonna be the first time we see maybe Brock Purdy dancing a little bit in the pocket. The clock gets a little rushed in his head, and I think we can see a couple of these plays. But at the end of the day, I think Kittle, Debo, all these guys are gonna make a couple of the big time plays to get this W. And again, I like my guy Dak, but again, Cowboys fall straight on their ass, and I'll be sending memes to my family, calling them the Cowgirls all day and night. And they'll be saying they come back next year, and it's going to be the soap opera. Yeah, see, I have a little more. The hatred, actually, I was saying the hatred, it's a little more hatred for the Cowboys. It's a little more.
I think the difference in this game is the run game. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Gary. The Cowboys are ranked 22nd in rush defense. And we have a guy by the name of Christian McCaffrey who we traded. I guess we mortgaged the future for. There was this trade. I'll never forget. It's always engraved in my memories. ESPN said C- trade. It was a C- grade.
They're 9-1. 9-1 with McCaffrey. 9-1.
And that boy's proven right now that, man, he was a great guy to pick up and a great guy to trade for, and made it well worth big time. You can't lie about that. But so I got the Cowboys. I do got the Cowboys. To all my Cowboys family that thinks I'm hating on them, I do got you guys covering. I got you guys actually playing a pretty good game, surprisingly, because I do think most likely you guys should, by the Cowboys history, they should fall straight on their ass. And they should actually do it last year a little bit. It should be a repeat of last year. 10 seconds left.
I was just about to say that.
Great. Oh my god.
I was just about to say it.
Okay, so it made me chuckle when Javon said that the biggest difference in this game is the run game, because I don't even know how to describe this guy. One of the biggest clowns in sports media, Skip Bayless.
Don't be hating on people. This is a love podcast, bro. Positivity. Stop hating on podcast.
Stats.
You gotta talk down his name, Shaun. You can say you don't like him. You gotta call him a clown. Come on now.
Skip Bayless, I respect you for everything that you've done throughout your career.
There you go. That's a fucking
Skip Bayless, you're a fucking clown for some of these takes that you make. I swear to God.
Right.
Skip Bayless, respectfully. Garry, you want to know what Skip Bayless said? He said, as great as Christian McCaffrey has been, I'll still take Tony Pollard. Just a little more explosive. Skip Bayless said, he said, give me Tony Pollard over Christian
I'm not even trying
McCaffrey.
He made the Pro Bowl over him.
I hate trying to like back up Skip because he's a LeBron hater. It's already proven fact. But I just want to say that I ain't gonna lie, they give out these professional people give out like thousands of more takes than us, bro. They gonna have especially he be tweeting all his takes too. That's even worse, bro. Tweeting all your takes. So
are you about to go back and are you really about to defend this take right now?
No, I'm not defending this take. That take is a dumb take, obviously.
Okay, thank
Christian
you.
McCaffrey from miles away, we can see that.
Tony Pollard's better than Christian McCaffrey.
That's it.
Come on.
That's it. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know.
But Tony Pollard ain't no scrub though. We gotta give him credit. He's a good running back.
He made the Pro Bowl over him, Shaun. He's better.
My brother's looking at right now. You shaking his head like you better say that. Like, yeah, he's doing. Anyways, back to what I was gonna say.
Hey, hold on, Jesse.
The game.
I appreciate it, Garry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to say, Jesse, please participate in the YouTube comments and let us know if you're taking.
Participate in the YouTube comments. There you go.
Jesse, are you taking Tony Pollard over Christian McCaffrey? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know.
Are you taking Tony Pollard over Christian McCaffrey? Go ahead, hop in the mic real quick. Don't worry about it.
Come on, come on.
Yes,
Jesse.
No.
He's old.
He has to.
He's old.
He's
washed. And he's slow.
Okay.
He's slow. He's always
He's
Cowboy fans. That's why we hate him.
He has to.
He only said he's slow because he's a white boy. We appreciate you, Jesse. All right, now let's get to the Sacramento Kings as we now transition over to the NBA. We are running out of time. It is almost 11 p.m.
today or NBA today.
The Kings they were. Sure were on NBA
Andrews
today.
For bringing them on. And
not just
probably set that up.
Damn credit.
Oh, without a doubt. Shout out to Matt Barnes. And so, anyways, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox were both on NBA today on ESPN, making their All-Star case. And the thing that's so cool about this season is that all the people who were saying that that the Kings made such a horrible trade trading Halliburton for Sabonis, like they're all getting exposed right now. Like it's been almost a year and all of those old tweets are coming back up and it's so funny. But anyways,
there's all mainstream media who don't watch the Kings. It's all good.
I saw Damian tweet something.
They don't blame him. They don't watch us.
On the Sabonis Halliburton trade, he tweeted something about like it was on Jalen and Jacoby.
Yeah, I remember that one. I heard that one.
You said the league should have stepped in.
Well, that was a legitimate question on Jalen and Jacoby that day that the trade happened. Jacoby's going, should the league step in? Halliburton is an amazing talent, and they traded him for Sabonis.
But from that perspective, you can see how, like, they don't really probably watch the Kings that much. You know what I'm saying? And they don't really watch probably Sabonis. I can see from their perspective why you guys got to realize. And national perspective, you guys should know. You know this. National perspective, we're known as the clowns, Shaun. We're known as the idiots. We're known as the dummies.
The idiots
always mess up. Exactly.
So does that mean that?
No, not
does
this
that
year,
mean?
not this year.
So does that mean that the analysts who get paid to cover us?
I'm not saying they were
clowns.
No, I'm not saying they weren't wrong, but I could see from their angle why, like, bro, they're messing up again. But obviously, they didn't deep dive into it as they should have. It was a pretty. I've heard your take, Shaun. That was a pretty tough trade from us. It's looking great now. Perspective is great, and I was iffy on it too.
It was a win-win.
It's a win-win. That's how. I don't know if everyone thought it was a win-win. I don't know if we even thought it was a win-win. I kind of thought it was a win-win a little bit. I was a little bit preaching it, but I think me and you were talking about this. I think we called each other that day too. But like, it just ties such a great person. It's hard to lose him. But
Kings are tied for third place.
They are tied for third place in the West right now. And Garry, that's the great thing about technology and the fact that Javon and I had our own podcast before this one called Shaun and Vaughn, because Javon and I literally reacted live to the Tyrese Halliburton trade because we just so happened to be recording that day a little later in the morning, and the trade went down around 11 a.m. and we reacted live. And I was so hurt because, like you said, I just love Ty so much, and I will for the rest of his career. But
All-Star.
He will be an All-Star.
But the thing, his name.
In that moment, though, when I was hurt and shocked, the thing that made me feel better and gave me reassurance was the fact that Domantas Sabonis was already an established 2-time All-Star. I would have understood all of those bad takes a little bit better if he wasn't already an established All-Star, but he was.
But people, you can't lie. There was a lot of iffiness of him making those teams because there wasn't that many deep of a front court players in the East during that time. They did bring that up because Valanciunas also made it too. And now look at Valanciunas now. He might be off the Bulls. So, you know what I'm saying? Like now,
you're talking about
he deserved it. He deserved it. But during that time, I remember it was a little bit iffy. I thought Sabonis was good, but I was like, is he really that good though? But you know what? He proved himself for sure.
To clarify, though, you're talking about Nikola Vucevic and not Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, Nikola Vucevic, who made the All-Star team when he was with the Orlando Magic. Now he's with the Chicago Bulls. Mm-hmm. He deserved to make the All-Star team when he was a member of the Magic. And the great thing about Sabonis, about whether if you want to question his previous 2 All-Star appearances, is that he is playing so well this season that the debate has gone with Domantas Sabonis from is he an All-Star to, okay, he's a lock for the All-Star game. Number 1, is he an All-Star starter? That's a question now. And number 2, will he make the All-NBA teams later this season? And let's just pose that question real quick.
Possibly. I think so. Okay, honest, I think so. If he keeps playing like this, I think so.
I'm going to put you guys on the spot, though, Javon. I need a yes or no. Was that a yes?
For Sabonis?
Yeah, will he make an All-NBA team?
I say he makes second All-NBA team.
Woo! I love it. Gary.
He's been playing out of his fucking mind.
No, I'm trying to actually do the math on it. You know what I'm saying? I know this is the question you made up. I'm looking at the centers who could be. Jokic is probably going to be up there.
Jokic.
Embiid.
Zion, is he counted as a
Embiid? I feel like Embiid.
Zion's hurt.
Exactly.
Zion's been playing great,
Anthony Davis is hurt.
And Davis hurt, Warriors. So, yeah. I mean, let's think of put what's his name in there? From Karl Anthony Towns, who's in 10th and 9th place.
He's hurt. So I honestly think
that's the easy one. Then
I think that Sabonis.
Go ahead.
I feel like Sabonis's only chance to make an All-NBA team is if he makes that 13, because to me, Embiid and Jokic are absolute locks for the first 2 teams right in front of him. And so Sabonis's best shot to make an All-NBA team is to make that 3rd team. Javon, you know me very well. Of course, Gary, you do as well. But Javon, I'm going to be pessimistic, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, he does not make an All-NBA team. But it's just Kevin because I like it.
Screaming at you.
Oh, yeah. Kevin would be screaming hell yes right now. So everyone except for me thinks that Domantas Sabonis will make an All-NBA team.
Cleveland
most likely the 3rd.
Too, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another good point. All right, guys. So the last 4 games, the Kings have won 4 games in a row as they have defeated the Orlando Magic, the Houston Rockets twice at both, all 3 of those games at home. And then they won on the road in San Antonio this past weekend.
They've been covering the spread too. So watch out for the Kings and the spread. They've been covering. Their spreads have been like 8, 7.5. They've been covering that thing.
Because they don't believe in us yet.
They've been covering that thing. I'm not even going to lie. So if you guys want to make a little bit of money, bet on tomorrow's game. I don't know what the line came out.
Kings at Lakers.
You guys get that get back for the cheating that occurred a couple of weeks ago. So I think the Kings cover the spread tomorrow and they win to go on a 5-game winning streak.
Okay, so Javon, what have you liked from the last week, though, as the Kings have won? Before we get into predicting the next week that's upcoming, what have you liked from the Kings?
And that the Sabonis boy have been making their stamp to be all-stars. They are stamping themselves for all-stars. Sabonis double-double. De'Aaron's leading the league in, like, clutch points.
Points, bro.
It's clutch points. He's leading the league in clutch points.
He sprayed butter from midi.
How is he not
fade away?
To be an all-star?
Boom.
I mean, I just think the way that those two have been playing with, we're seeing, guys like Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter has been having a hell of a season. I wonder, do the Kings make a move for Kyle Kuzma at the trade deadline? That's something that you.
What are we giving up, guys? I don't
want
to talk about the trade talk
here. A guy that is aggressive, and he, I think, is probably earned so far a contract extension.
1,000%.
I think we've seen his picks, Halliburton, Davion Mitchell, their hits. And then in the offseason, trading for Sabonis, creating this, this lighting the beam, the whole culture is changing right before our eyes, and the Kings are tied for third.
Shout out to Mike Brown.
Citing Mike Brown, that was Monty McNair. So who's to say that the Kings don't make a move in the offseason and take an even bigger leap that they're already at right now? And Kyle Kuzma is the guy who's been averaging, I think, 22 points this year. He's having a career year this year. I'm not sure if it is a Kyle Kuzma that they trade for. I'm just saying, do the Kings get better at the trade deadline? I would say yes, that they would still make a splash. They did it last year. Who said that they won't do it this year? And it wasn't even at the trade deadline. It was kind of like around that time. So this past week, we kind of saw that the Kings, they're playing inferior teams. The Rockets twice, San Antonio, the Magic. Those are teams that they're supposed to beat. I've always said that the Kings have to be able to win those games against those, the Magic, the Rockets,
as they know, yeah,
those lesser teams. Those are easy W's that they're supposed to win. And to be a top team, which they are in the Western Conference, you have to win those games. And I think they're starting to solidify themselves. Top teams have all-stars on them. DeMontis Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox. You could argue De'Aaron Fox could make a case for an all-NBA team as well if he keeps playing this way. But I think that the Kings are playing great, obviously. I think they have a chance to go on another longer 7-game, 8-game win streak. Who's to say that they don't do that? So I loved them this past week because they beat those teams that they're supposed to beat. I think they win tomorrow night in LA as well.
Okay, Gary, how about you? What have you liked that you've seen from the Kings during this 4-game winning streak?
I want to be the DA. I want to be the devil's advocate, but screw all of that. We already know we're rocking and rolling right now, guys, and we deserve it. We're a Kings podcast, but I mean, people are, we're from Sacramento. We're all Kings fans. Obviously, we're going to say nothing negative right now at the moment. We're going to critique the Kings, in a manner when we need to, but at the point, there's nothing to critique. You want to critique their defense. You want to nitpick. Obviously, they even mentioned it today. Sabonis and Fox did. Coach has been mentioned. Everyone's been mentioning it. They're holding themselves accountable. They already know defensively they're not where they need to be at the end of the season. But if you keep playing, working up to that point, and like Vaughn said, keep winning the games you need to win. Offensively, keep getting the rhythm. I feel they haven't even hit this. I feel like they haven't hit on all cylinders yet. Where like Fox and all these guys all hitting in one game. Like they've been blown and versus a good team. I want to say versus a good team because I will still want to see them versus the really good teams here. Obviously, we blew out the Rockets back-to-back, Orlando, and all that when they came to town. And then, yeah. So, and the Spurs, obviously, too, but we went to them and beat them. But I just want to mention that where we're sitting, obviously, in the fourth place, we already know there's ever to be all-stars at the moment. If all-star voting stopped today, Vaughn already hit all the boxing on clutch. I just feel like, man, we're riding high right now. What do the Kings need to do? They need to keep doing what they need to do. I don't know. What else do y'all want to say right now? I think there's nothing else to say right now about the Kings. Are they making
a trade at the trade deadline?
Okay, that's a good question. You want to hit that thing? All right. Are they making a trade? Okay. Me going to a lot of games, I would not want to make a trade for the pure fact of I like how everything's rolling right now. I like how the chemistry is being built. I don't want to trade Harrison Barnes at all. That would be the worst move of them all because literally everyone's been trying to throw him in trades for years, and he's literally the glue guy right now. One of the glue guys, one of the only vets we have on this team, including Delhi. And so I really want to keep him. I guess if you want to give maybe Rich a chance, maybe from somewhere else, because he has a lot to give to other teams, and he's a very talented player. So I could see him giving some value for somewhere else. Also, maybe he'll find a better fit, because it's been hard to find that backup center role. But now we're kind of nitpicking here. Like you said, I do see Monty being there. He's been outgoing the whole offense. Has really been hitting on all cylinders and really being aggressive, which has been obviously beneficial for the Kings. But I think they should not mess with the chemistry, guys. Don't mess it up. Just don't tinker with it. Let them keep building. Let them keep rocking. We're gonna need TD in the playoffs maybe to catch a game on fire and play. He plays great defense and he knows how to hit his shot. He hasn't found his role just yet, but he's ready. We have a lot of guys who stay ready and we're already deep. And I know if we want to get a proven guy like Kyle Kuzma, it's gonna cost a pretty penny and it's gonna change the dynamic. And I don't know if we want Kyle Kuzma's a good one, Vaughn. I ain't gonna mention because he knows how we play with LeBron and AD, so he knows how to work with superstars in a sense and how to fit a role. But I just like the team we're rocking with right now, guys. They're the beam team, bro. Don't change the beam team up already.
Are the Kings better with Kyle Kuzma on their team?
Who's he taking off? You taking
yeah,
HB
but
off? No.
You probably say goodbye to Harrison Barnes. Yeah, that's less minutes for Keegan.
Exactly, it's a no-go. It's a no-go.
Oh, Keegan's gone too, and he's a part of that.
No. It's less minutes for him on the floor.
It's not good. Yeah, we don't need that. We need him to keep being more aggressive. He's been a sniper this year. I think he's on pace to make the most threes as a rookie. So he's been on. And wait till his game opens up and be more aggressive. And I know they've been yelling at him to be more aggressive and yelling and get some more animation out of him. So I think they should keep it out. One place I would see the backup center, but I believe in Metu still. I still believe in Rich. So I especially believe in Metro. I ain't gonna lie. I really feel like once he finds his ground, especially on the defensive side, I think he can be a real threat to make us when we go small versus team. Because the only person we got to worry about, we need Alex Lynn or something like that to throw six. If we face Jokic or anybody like that, to throw 6 fouls on Jokic. Other than that, we only got no big guys to go against. I think Anthony Davis can hold his own against Anthony Davis. I meant Sabonis can hold his own against Anthony Davis.
Shout out to Chimezie Metu for getting his jersey retired at his old high school. I think it's a pretty cool thing when they do that and they have the whole team go with them. I just saw it on the King socials before we started this podcast. So shout out to Chimezie Metu. As Javon shows us that Chimezie Metu, he displayed the hands that he has during Summer League. Okay, guys, so we're coming up here on the 2-hour mark here on episode number 10 of Stats Over Politics. And so let's just close things out with predictions for the Kings next 4 games. So in the next week, the Kings do have 4 games. So we're going to make predictions for those 4 games. They have a road game in LA tomorrow night, like we were just talking about. And then they have home games against the Thunder, 76ers, and Grizzlies. You could say that the first 2 games are winnable as they play teams that are under 500 versus the latter 2 games are against teams over 500. And that it seems like those will be tough games. So, Javon, I'm going to throw it to you first on this one. What's your prediction for the Kings next week and why?
I think the Kings go 3-1. I think they win in LA. Watch out for that Thunder game. The Thunder have been playing out of their ass these past couple of games. Shai Gilgeous has
gone crazy.
SGA is an all-star this year for sure.
And Paul George doesn't even play for the Clippers.
All-star starter. Yeah, that trade's starting to come about, and like SGA's 2K rating went up, and they're better than Paul George and Kawhi's. That's a whole other story. But I do think that they beat the Thunder. I think they lose to the Sixers, who have been playing well as of lately. I think the whole Joel Embiid, who had 40 by the way tonight, and James Harden thing is starting to click a little bit. So I do think that they lose to the 76ers and they beat the Grizzlies, who are in second in the Western Conference.
Okay, Gary, how about you?
I don't care, bro. We're gonna win 4 in a row. Eight game winning streak, y'all. 8-game winning streak. I'm taking Kevin's spot today. We beating the Lakers. We ain't gonna get back versus them real quick. Sorry, Bron. Scoring 48 while he's 38 already. Man, the other night. The Thunder's gonna be a tough one. We're gonna put them away because we need to put them away because we're gonna show dominance. And 76ers is gonna be tough. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's gonna be tough because that boy Joel Embiid, man. Oh wait, he's on a tear right now. And in Harden, man, quietly been reasserting himself, been doing his Dougie all year long. And the Grizzlies, we gonna get one because we need to slap them in the face, Shaun. We're here too because they be trying to act like they're big dogs, and they are big dogs. And I love their swagger, and everyone hates them because they talk smack, and what I'm saying, all that. So, and we're kind of the quiet team. I think a lot of teams are gonna be going for us in the playoffs because we're a quiet, humble team. We got a lot of quiet guys, but we got a lot of confidence. So I think we're gonna show our confidence in, and we ain't gonna back down. It's like we did to the Rockets when they try to shove us around in the fourth quarter when things were getting a little wrong. You know what I'm saying? Monk had to pop that ball at him real quick and show him what's up. So we can get it. We can get it a little bit. We can put them hands up a little bit once in a while. I just don't want this people to think they could push the Kings around because you can't. So we're gonna win 4 in a row. I'm being a Kings homer, as I should.
I like it. I like it. Gary's going with the Kings to win 8 games in a row. So
it's 2-2.
Javon just knows me so well. That's crazy. I'm gonna say
I was
the
thinking
Kings
about them going 2-2 too. I ain't
gonna lie. That's like if you want to use your mind or whatever, bro. I'm politicking right now. I ain't gonna lie. I'm politicking.
Sean's gonna say that they're gonna lose to the Grizzlies and the Sixers. I gave them one of those games because I thought they're supposed to be one of the better teams in the Western Conference, so I'm giving them a bit of a tell.
All right, no, you're gonna start painting Sean's mind now. Is he guessing right, Shaun?
I actually think that they slip up against the Thunder.
Ooh, SGA averaging 30.
I think that they slip up against
on that one.
Exactly. So I think that they slip up against the Thunder, and I think that they lose to the Sixers as well. But I got them beating the teams. I got as the hiccups are attacking me right now. The listeners have probably heard that in the background. Garry, I'm gonna need you to close this thing out because I'm getting attacked by hiccups, and I'm not trying to have a hiccup pop up every 10 seconds.
Yeah, the last thing real quick, I would just say, if anything, they have a revenge tour because all those teams, I think, beat them already previously. So it's going to be a revenge tour versus at least 3 of those teams. So let's get it. You guys are listening to Stats Over Politics. Make sure you guys tune in, subscribe, like, follow me, Shaun, Bonnie, and Kev. Make sure you tune back in next week at 8:30 for Stats Over Politics for episode 11. You guys like